On top of taking the top-ranked defensive line in the NFL to school here in Cleveland today, Brock Purdy did the Dougie after his rushing touchdown. And it turns out that he had been preparing for this moment far in advance. We talked to Trent Williams, we talked to Jauan Jennings in the 49ers locker room, and they both revealed that Brock Purdy actually practiced the Dougie during 49ers practice on Thanksgiving Day. So preparations had been going in earnest as far back as Thursday, and hey, maybe preparations had been going in earnest even further back than that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been able to Dougie, but I haven't really just done it, publicly. And so, my wife, she could tell you actually, like, I annoy her in the kitchen and all that kind of thing. So that's where I got my practice. But I told the team, said if we're scoring, we're gonna have some fun, and I'm gonna hit the Dougie. So. I got an op to do it, so I did it. Once I got in the end zone, I was there by myself for a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'm going to Dougie.
I wonder how Jenna Purdy, Brock's wife, felt about seeing the Dougie, which had initially been practiced in her kitchen, out here on the field today. 26-8, 49ers win this game against the Browns, and given Purdy's performance, I can't help but remember the walkout. You guys know that I'm always in that tunnel when the 49ers come out behind the boom box. Today was particularly cool because they waited under the bleachers before taking the field in this dark area. And the bleachers here, that part of it is aluminum. I think it's an homage to the dog pound of the old Cleveland Stadium. This obviously Huntington Bank Field. This is the new stadium, the old Cleveland Stadium. Some of the ironwork, some of the metal work is in Lake Erie behind me. It's literally formed a reef back there. But the dog pound made a lot of noise slamming against the bleachers. I was under those bleachers, standing a few feet away from Brock Purdy, and I got to feel what the moments leading up to an NFL game in hostile environment sound like. So the pressure was building, and Brock Purdy had thrown 3 interceptions last week. I know that the 49ers had beaten the Carolina Panthers, but there were a lot of questions about how he would handle this top-ranked defensive line of the Cleveland Browns. They had 42 sacks entering this game. Myles Garrett had posted a 5-sack outing earlier this season. It was going to be a huge challenge for Purdy, but he was only sacked once. And you've got to give credit to the 49ers offensive line, but you also have to give maybe most of the credit to the quarterback himself. We've learned as we've studied the game and as analytics have grown better over the course of the past few decades that sacks are generally a quarterback stat. Pressures are an O-line stat, but sacks, quarterbacks can avoid those with a quick release or with good mobility. And Brock Purdy has the best pressure to sack ratio of any quarterback in football. Today, he was pressured numerous times, but only 1 Myles Garrett sack. Don't listen to me. Listen to Myles Garrett himself talk about Brock Purdy's elusiveness.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of ops. Well, there seemed like a lot of ops, with how close it was. But, he likes getting out on time, or, he sees me and credit to him, he also avoided the rush pretty well, too. So him getting the ball out on time, them having a solid unit as well, chipping, those kind of things. They were doing what they do best.
It looks like you said something to him one time when you got close. What did you? Can you share that with us?
It was something like, just give me another one.
So when Myles Garrett himself is frustrated that he can't grasp the quarterback, even though he thinks those ops should be there, that's a huge, huge tip of the cap to Brock Purdy. And I'm going to go trust Myles over Twitter armchair experts who are all very, very wrong about many Brock Purdy topics, especially over the course of this short week. They were saying that he can't drive the ball. Turns out that he was driving the ball through the Cleveland wind today. Yes, that throw to George Kittle heaved, 40-plus yards in the air ahead of halftime that really put the 49ers on track to win this game because it set up the go-ahead field goal before the intermission. That was into the wind, which comes off of Lake Erie.
That was huge. We were almost not going to go for it. Just going into the wind like that with 30-something seconds left. The odds of with their pass rush, making something bad happen seemed a little bit higher than going and scoring. But Ricky made that big third down, got us down there. Throwing that go route in the wind like that, just going into that way, that was a big-time play by Brock and a huge catch by George.
It turns out that driving the ball is not a problem at all for Brock Purdy. The 3 interceptions against the Carolina Panthers, well, those were timing issues, and I think they were decision issues, not in that Brock Purdy went to the wrong read, but I think that from the very top, Kyle Shanahan deciding what plays to run, deciding the aggressiveness calculus for the 49ers, I don't think that it was correct against the Carolina Panthers. They said that Purdy made the right reads on the plays where he threw the picks, but I contended all week that Purdy should have been more restrained, should have played more within himself, because the Panthers were happily ready to give up 5 yards at a time. The challenge was going to be bigger this week against the Browns because it was such a good and aggressive defense. But one thing that Purdy couldn't do was totally shy away from attacking downfield, because he had to find a way to decondense this really good Browns defense. And you saw it from the very get-go. The 49ers called 4 passes to start this game. First play after they took the ball to begin, which is very unusual in the long history of Kyle Shanahan as the 49ers head coach. That might have been the first time that the 49ers have ever done that, but the first play was a play-action pass rolling away from Myles Garrett to Kyle Juszczyk. And although the 49ers punted on that first drive, I think that the tone was set, and it was set especially well after the subsequent Sky Moore 66-yard punt return. The 49ers were unafraid to challenge Cleveland downfield, but Brock Purdy did it in a very smart and calculated fashion. Not once did he put the ball in harm's way today, but still, for the vast majority of the game, his average depth of target was 9.5 yards, which is well above league average. So this was not a game where he was just playing dink and dunk to stay away from that Browns defense. He was pushing the ball downfield, and he did it in an intelligent fashion that protected the football and enabled the 49ers to be on track for an 18-point win, despite the fact that it was really, really hard to run against this Cleveland defense. Just 2.7 yards per carry for the 49ers. 20 carries, 53 yards for Christian McCaffrey. But boy, was it refreshing to watch the 49ers not helpless without a run game against the ferocious pass rush. And the main reason for that was Brock Purdy's escapability on this cold, windy afternoon on the shores of Lake Erie. Now, Myles Garrett and Brock Purdy got into a little bit of a back and forth. Brock talked about it here.
We had a keeper or a bootleg, and I rolled out, and he was right there, and I was like, oh, man. So I threw the ball away. He's like, come on, bro, and smiled at me, and I was like, I'm sorry, bro. But it's nothing but love and respect. He's really cool, but, I mean, he's a monster, so you got to be smart in certain situations like that.
Come on, bro, the line from Brock Purdy. We saw them smiling at each other. I mean, and that's the highest form of respect, right? Purdy, one of the better quarterbacks in this game. Myles Garrett, one of the best pass rushers ever. The fact that he's fist bumping Brock Purdy after some of these plays, I think is very, very telling as far as respect on the field goes. All right, big picture. 49ers are now 9-4. The Rams, by the way, you might have heard, they lost to the Panthers. Matthew Stafford turned it over 3 times. He should be benched for Jimmy Garoppolo. But the Rams lost. They're 9-3. I think the Seahawks are winning as I record this. I'm going to assume that they hold on against the Vikings. If they don't, pleasant surprise for the 49ers. But this team has a playoff probability of over 90%. I told you after the Rams lost that the 49ers would likely win their next 4 to be 10-4. Well, they're heading into a bye week now, and they're 9-4. The game after the bye week is against the Tennessee Titans, eminently winnable, so they should be 10-4. Hate to say I told you so, but that's where the 49ers are right now, and they're improving in all facets of the game as a football team. They are brimming with confidence. Just listening to George Kittle deliver the state of this team following this win against the Cleveland Browns helps put stuff into a lot of perspective.
I don't think there was ever any doubt. I would just say, like, when Mac Jones came in and just started, like, slicing and dicing, I think that just gave everybody a lot of confidence. And then, Christian's having the year that he's having, 800, leading the NFL in targets, catches, all of the above, and rushings. Like, he's a monster. So, and then our O-line has stayed relatively healthy the entire time. And, like, if, Jake was down for a game and a half, Hennessy came in and played at a high level for us. So I think guys are just stepping up. But, like, when you lose your people, like the guys who you've paid, your franchise players, and guys step up and they can still play at a high level, it just gives the whole team confidence. And we've had a bunch of rookies step up too. Like I cannot get over Alfred Collins. I just think he's such a good player. And you just see his effort out there. If you guys watch the All-22, I just think he's making so many plays and so much effort and so much hustle, and I'm just so proud of him.
Oh, how about the Alfred Collins shout out from George Kittle? I think that's emblematic of how much the 49ers have improved on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you've seen my arrows on the XY chart. I think the defense is clearly moving its way up the efficiency ranks the longer that Robert Saleh has with this unit. They have turned into the fourth down and short magicians. 2 more stops on fourth and short today. One, Malik Mustafa just diagnosed the play, shot it to the backfield like a missile. Jordan Elliott, the former Brown, won his matchup there. And then the second fourth down, there was a fumble. And Malik told me, maybe the Cleveland Browns were psyched out after how aggressive and how effective the 49ers were on the first fourth down. I mean, this kind of success snowballs. We had already seen it in 49ers Rams back in week 5. They made so many stops in these and short situations, even in a game where they gave up that 90-yard drive with 9 runs and 1 pass for the Browns. But that was the only time the Browns scored. 49ers winning at high leverage moments. They're winning at high leverage moments on special teams, and it's all added up into a 9-4 record, which George Kittle put into perspective here.
I mean, I think looking from the outside in, if people would have said, hey, you guys are going to be 9-4 going into the bye and you're not going to have Fred Warner or Nick Bosa and Kittle's going to miss the first 5 weeks and Brock's going to miss 6-7 games, I think a lot of people would have laughed at everybody. And, kudos to our coaching staff, Coach Shanahan, Lynch for bringing in the right guys to fill in those spots, developing players, to take advantage of those situations. How about Cleveland Farrell, just coming back? It's fantastic. I think we're set up really well. It's these bye weeks, get tricky because I think guys have just been looking forward to it. And so, our message, I think Kyle say the message tomorrow is just like, hey, get away, do whatever you have to do. But just remember when we come back, we have 4 incredibly difficult games that are going to hopefully set us up to do something fun, after the last game.
He's absolutely right. I don't think there's another NFL team that would be close to 9-4 with the type of injury toll that the 49ers have had. The fact that they're 9-4 with the stuff that George Kittle listed, and he didn't even list all of it, truly is impressive, and it should give the 49ers big-time confidence heading into this bye week. Now, it was hard to get to this bye week. It's never been this late, week 14. So the difficulty of getting here will now pay off because the 49ers get it late enough so that it will really help them freshness-wise heading into December. You've got the Titans, then you've got the Indianapolis Colts, who, by the way, lost at home 20-16 to the Texans today. You've got the surging Chicago Bears. That's increasingly looking like a massive showdown on December 28th. And then you've got the Seattle Seahawks at home. But the 49ers get the boost of a late bye week, latest ever bye week for them, entering this final stretch. So this team should only get better. I mean, the defense is trending upward. The offense, obviously, with Brock Purdy in there, instead of Mac Jones, has improved. Ricky Pearsall hasn't even gotten going yet. Today, Jauan Jennings scored the touchdown. I mean, speaking of that, Jauan Jennings, professional antagonizer. He scored the touchdown there for the 49ers to turn this into a blowout, but he also pissed the Browns off big time. Just listen to Shelby Harris.
He's a hoe, and I want that known. I see why he got punched in the nuts, because that's he says some things that you should not say to another man ever, but I don't respect it because you say that, then run behind your O-line. That's some real soft shit, and I want that known. I see exactly why they punched the nuts. I'm surprised nobody punched him in the jaw yet.
So that big bad Cleveland defense, obviously not ready for Jauan Jennings. It sounds like he bullied them around with his words a little bit today, and then they weren't able to get back at him. And I think that's a skill that Jauan has, to be able to antagonize grown men, professionals, to act like that, to speak like Shelby Harris did, half an hour after the game ended, and it wasn't even a close game at the end, so it wasn't even like it could have been too heated at the very end. To antagonize guys to that level, I think that's value from Jauan Jennings, and he's brought it over the course of his entire San Francisco career. Cleveland Farrell had 2 sacks today. on the defensive side. Keon White had a sack. I talked to Robert Beal Jr. in the 49ers locker room. He told me, I just got to be, can't get stuck in between pass rushing moves. I got to be decisive. And he just went with bull rush. He went with power. And he backed the rat tackle up into Shedeur Sanders, who wasn't able to get a clean release. It turned into a lucky completion. The duck was caught downfield. But every single game seems to have brought a different 49ers pass rush success from a different guy. So Keon White a sack today, Cleveland Farrell 2. He's got 4 since the 49ers signed him right before the trade deadline. So by the way, anybody who says the 49ers didn't add at the trade deadline or right before it doesn't know what they're talking about, because they added both Farrell and White. Now they've developed Robert Beal into the spot where he's become a force for the 49ers. That was really cool to see today because he was stepping in for Sam Okawanu, who's out with the high ankle sprain. They're giving me 2010 San Francisco Giants vibes, like a bunch of misfit toys, finding a way to make it work along the defensive line. You know what team last did this under Chris Kasarik? The 2020 team with Kerry Hyder Jr. After they lost Nick Bosa and Dee Ford, 8.5 sacks from Kerry Hyder Jr., a guy that nobody had ever really heard of, at least in the 49ers circle. He had been with Kasarik in Detroit. That defense made it work and finished number 6 in the league. I know this defense entered this game at number 25, but I've been talking so much about their chances of morphing into a top 15, maybe even a top 12 unit over the back half or the stretch run of this season. That's what the Rams did last year after they worked together and developed as a defense. Why not the 49ers? With as good as the coaching is on that side of the ball, I mean, these past 2 games have been their best defensive games of the season. Only 8 points given up today. That's a season low against the Cleveland Browns. I know they're facing the worst quarterback they faced this year in Shedeur Sanders, and it's not a good Browns passing attack. But outside of that one drive, I was still very, very impressed. I will say, and I'm going to repeat this because this is my big criticism from the game, the 4th and 3, I thought the 49ers should have gone for it. I think that Kyle Shanahan, he came out in this game wanting the football for the first time. That showed his faith in offense. Trent Williams explained it to me in the locker room. He said that some of it was the 49ers fearing that the weather would get worse in the second half, so they wanted to maximize first half first half possessions. They did not want to maximize first half turnovers. They wanted to maximize first half possessions. The weather never really did get worse. But I saw it as a big vote of confidence in the offense. And then I saw the 4th and 3 where Kyle Shanahan punted to precede the long Browns touchdown drive as not as big of a vote of confidence in the offense. And, there are some variables that will make you understand it a little bit more in this game, punting from plus territory, than other games. I would say one of the variables was the Browns' really good defense. The other one was the wind in the game. But I still think the locomotive that needs to pull the train needs to be San Francisco's offense. And they figured it out, especially with their backs up against the wall before halftime. And Purdy was throwing those ropes downfield, the long one to Kittle. And then, he had some awesome third down passes. One to McCaffrey at the start of the game. Then one on third down to Kittle as he was getting hit to set up his own rushing touchdown and the Dougie, and then obviously the third down pass to Jennings. By the end of this, it seemed laughable that the 49ers didn't go for that 4th and 3 because their offense made a high leverage moment mockery of the Cleveland Browns defense. That's how good Brock Purdy and this supporting cast is. But I think that moving forward, coming out of the bye week, as Kyle Shanahan does his self-scouting, he needs to really look at this offense as the juggernaut that I think it is. I said that 20 points against the Browns would be a statement. They scored 26. He needs to let that phase lead the way because I think that can give the defense even more confidence because I think it will likely result in bigger leads because the offense will be successful more often than not. And even if it's not, then you're entrusting your defense to pick up the slack, to stonewall opposing offenses with worse field position. And then, of course, there is the ace in the hole. Literally, Trent Williams called them the ace in the hole, the 49ers special teams unit. They are a complete team, all 3 phases of the game. The defense obviously is still trying to work its way up because it doesn't have the same personnel that it did at the start of the year and definitely not in years prior. But the offense, this is a top 5 level offense based on what they did to Cleveland today. And the special teams, well, this is the biggest turnaround in the NFL all year. From number 32 in 2024 to number 1 now. Sky Moore returning punts, returning kicks, you name it. 49ers are the best average starting field position after kickoffs of any team in the NFL. They're recovering muffed punts. They're not the ones muffing punts. They're the ones recovering them. That was Darrell Luter Jr. That was poetic today because he was the one that saw the punt glance off of his leg in the Super Bowl, which led to the 49ers muff punt. So the special teams has truly been the ace in the hole to give the 49ers that very, very well-rounded nature as a team. Perfect time for the bye week. Let's listen to Kyle Shanahan about it.
I love where we're at right now. I believe we'd be in the playoffs today if it started, and we got 4 more games left to make sure we continue that. It's been a long wait for a bye week. I've never had one this late. I don't know anyone on our team who has. It's finally here, mentally and physically. It'll be awesome to rest and then be able to come back from that with 4 games to play for a chance to get in the playoffs is everything we could ask for.
And that's where the 49ers are right now. 4 games to play, 9-4. It will be fun. I can't wait to see this team probably at its best health since early in the year when they come out of the bye week in week 15 against the Tennessee Titans. Should be a whole heck of a lot of fun. San Francisco and Cleveland. Had fun with this game a couple of years ago and having fun with it now. These are 2 of the best sandwich cities in the world. The Cleveland Slyman's sandwich. This is a deli in Cleveland. Look at all that corned beef, just a mountain of it. Directly inspired deli board, which Adam runs on Folsom Street. This is the 49ers sandwich from Deli Board. You can see the resemblance to the Cleveland mountain of meat, except it's made better by the Bay Area. Look at that Dutch crunch. That's a Bay Area specialty. San Francisco and Cleveland connected today on the football field. The 49ers beat the Browns 26-8. Connected in sandwich lore. There's Deli Board, there's Slyman's. There is a perfect finish here from windy, cold Cleveland. Cleveland rocks, San Francisco rolls. 26-8 over the Browns. Brock Purdy and company get the job done. Nearly flawless from the offensive side of the football. 49ers looking really, really good, looking like true contenders as the calendar turns from November to December.
I mean, we're in the thick of it. We got 4 important games coming up after the bye. So, we'll look at trying to get through them.
Trent, I'm curious in those battles with Miles. Are you talking? Is he talking?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really good competitive relationship. So no real trash talk, just chopping it over with each other, just competing.
It seemed that Miles and Purdy were going back and forth a little bit. Did you witness any of that?
I didn't see that.
You see Purdy's Dougie after the?
No, I missed it. We were all supposed to do it with him, but I forgot all about it. I ain't gonna lie.
How important was the complimentary football today for you guys?
Really important. Really important. They got a heck of a run game, really good O-line. So we knew that they was going to run the ball. And the special teams we thought would be our ace in the hole. We've been doing great all year. Sky's been putting us in great position, and it continued today.
Momentum-wise, what did it do for you guys on the 2 4th down stops?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And I think one of them we got the ball in scoring territory. I think maybe twice. So that's to us, it's as good as a turnover.
What did you think about Brock Purdy's swag today? His celebration day?
Man, I missed it, but he's been practicing all week. I hate it that I missed it. I forgot though.
Did you actually witness him practicing?
I did witness him in practice. It was pretty vibed out in practice.
So was that like post-practice, pre-practice?
Nah, it was walking through plays when he scored. He just kind of did his thing. So.
Okay.
Is it fun to see him kind of break down because he is pretty game on?
Yeah. I think it's fun for everybody, because you never really see that side of him.
I believe this was the first time I can remember that Kyle wanted the ball to start a game when winning the toss. So, did you have any insight into the strategy, or was that a win thing for this game?
No, I think the weather was pretty good at kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was probably just a little foreshadowing that maybe it could, turn bad at halftime or later in the game. So, we try to get one clean drive out the way before, the weather picked up. But honestly, it never did, so it's pretty good.
Finally getting a bye in week 14, how are you planning on resting your body and just rehabbing?
Like you said, just resting, rehabbing, taking the load off, really. It's about the latest bye I think I've had in my career, so definitely need it.
Trent, going back to that, the last time you guys were here, do you feel a little bit more vindicated now that you got to play a full game against Miles? Healthy?
Yeah, 100%. And we got the W, which means the most.
I I know getting to the bye was more difficult because it was so late, but do you see this in the big picture potentially giving you guys more of a boost than you might have had in December?
100%. We get, we're going to get healthy, get some guys back. But yeah, we've been going nonstop since July, since we reported. So I think this bye week is much deserved, much needed, and it came at a perfect time. Coming off a 3-game winning streak and having 4 games to finish up the season, I think gives us time to reset.
Knowing Miles' ability more than the rest of us through your battles, is it surprising at all to see how many sacks that he's racked up this season?
Not at all. Not surprised, not one bit.
Thanks, Trent.
Taking that steady rise, that we're going to be in a good spot.
How much more fun are you having this year opposed to last year, just record-wise, 9-4, and this is a winning team this time around?
Yeah, the morale is just different. You can see it. We got guys on this team that know what last year felt like, and now we know what's at stake this year, knowing where we can go, what we can achieve, and as long as we're together, we can go through anything.
Can you take me through the 4th and 1 stop in the first quarter where you burst through the gap?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just knew that it was a gotta-have-it play, and I seen the formation. I knew that gap was going to be over, so as soon as it parted up, I just shot my gun and was able to, get them down, and then you saw the guys rally as well.
You were flying around like a missile out there. I know that's normal for you, but timing-wise, angle-wise, do you feel like you're hitting your peak right now this season?
Yeah, for sure. I just think I'm just starting to click at the right time, knowing coming into it. Midway through the season, I knew there's going to be growing pains, so I can just feel myself getting more confident out there, putting myself in position to make plays, and the guys, having the trust in me. So all I got to do is do my 111, and then the guys are going to follow. So I'm just glad I'm able to put good stuff on tape.
This defense is starting to develop a reputation of coming through on 4th and 1s. I mean, it goes all the way back to that Rams game. Is Saleh and all of his assistants, are they putting you guys in? You mentioned you noticed exactly what was coming. Are they giving you good indicator tape for those situations?
Yeah, all the time. And at the same time, it's a certain mentality you also got to have 4th and 1. So he keeps it simple for us. All we got to do is just shoot our gun and get the ball carrier down. 4th and 1 is whatever team wants it more. So you can see in both instances, they've got to stop the first time, and then the second time, who knows, maybe it spooked them. That's why they fumbled the ball. Just keep putting that on tape so, later on teams won't try us in those situations.
How impressed are you with Klee? A month ago, he's not even on this team. Now he's tied for sacks, for most sacks on the team.
Yeah, Klee's a dog. You can see it with his preparation. Whenever he steps into the building, I knew it as soon as I met him. He's just someone that really, takes his craft serious, takes his recovery serious. He does everything right.
Feel great.
Can you take me through your touchdown?
Wide open, great ball, perfect ball, and had a little celly at the end. Felt great.
What did you think of Brock's celebration on his little QB sneak?
He's the man. Brock is him. You know what I'm saying? He did that for us at practice. We was expecting it, and it was great. Needed that.
It's nice to see him kind of break from the business Brock side and have a little bit more fun out there.
It's always fun. Always fun to go out there and get a W, especially in the freezing cold with your brothers. Nothing like it.
What can you say about your defense and the positions they put you guys in today?
It was awesome. Special teams as well. As long as they keep doing that each and every week, it's going to be hard to lose.
Are you ready for Sky Moore to break one and get it all the way in the end zone?
Oh, we can't wait. I'm waiting on to see what Sky got cooked up for his silly. Can't wait.
We don't get to see all of practice, so we don't get to see guys practicing their celebrations. Is that a common thing, or is that something that Brock just pulled out?
Man, if y'all was there for Thanksgiving, y'all would have saw it, man. So thank you, because y'all missed out on Thanksgiving, man.
9-4 going into this bye week with all the injuries you've had. What's it like in this locker room right now? There's a lot of guys not here, but you're still right in the thick of this.
Same mentality, going out there and being consistent, guys giving their all and coming back each and every week better. That's it.
Nice to have Fred and Nick around the area too, just to kind of pass through.
It's always good to see those faces, man. This is kind of what we do it for. We do it for our brothers. We do it for our family. We do it for the fans. This is exactly what we do for. So to see those guys, we see them every day, almost. So, man, it means a lot. It means a lot to this organization. It means a lot to this team.